A special day. This is a very special time. Show me a hill I can climb. Give me a mountain to move, and I'll prove that it's a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, it's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving, so this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day. Up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, it's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving, so this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day.
A very special day it is. What a great morning it is. It's a finally Friday. That means my partner in crime, my co-host this morning, is Holly Thompson from Salem Crossing. Good morning, Holly.
Good morning.
She is a superhero this morning.
Superhero day.
I feel like I need a da 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 da. Holly Thompson in the hot seat with us this morning, and he's a brave man to be in here with us. We're gonna have to give you a lot of snaps and kudos. We have Glenn Luckett from the Salem Speedway. Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning.
And,
glad to be here.
Happy Friday, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, let's thank our sponsors, Holly.
We'd like to thank Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Fantastic Sam's, Fox Lee Wealth Management, Po' Boys Barbecue, and Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn. Thank you so much.
Yay! Thank you to our great sponsors. And let's talk about what today is real quick, and let's see what our holidays are. And this is one of my favorites, actually, because this is Superhero Day.
Yay!
Yay! And this is also so celebrating Superhero Day. So, Holly, why are you dressed for that, or was this something that Salem Crossing is just doing?
No, we did it for National Superhero Day.
Oh my goodness!
It's on our employee committee calendar.
Yeah. And you are Wonder Woman today.
Wonder Woman.
But Wonder Woman has lost her hat, or her
I have lost my little thing that goes on the
crown,
headband.
or
I
something.
lost it. Oh well, it's okay.
You still have the powers.
That's
you
right.
Still have the powers. That's all right.
Still got the cape, so I can still fly.
Can't go wrong with the cape. You know what I mean? Yeah. So who is your favorite superhero?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Glenn, who's your favorite superhero?
Probably Spider-Man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Gotta love Spider-Man. You know?
I like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite?
Well, I've got grandsons that we're Spider-Man right now. Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with Spider-Man. You know. And there's a photo of one of my grandsons, and he's so into Spider-Man. I mean, everything, like in his everyday clothes, he'll have Spider-Man underneath. You know what I mean? He's always ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Spider-Man underwear.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And we'll show it at any time. You know what I mean?
What is he?
Do you see my underwear? Yeah. That's pretty cool. But he actually will have the hat on, or his mask on, and will drink through a straw.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's talent. I just want to say, there's got to be, So if you ever wonder how Spider-Man actually drinks, he can drink through a straw with his mask on. So.
All right.
So now you can sleep tonight knowing that, right?
That's right.
I do like it. I like a good Batman too, for sure. I like the older ones maybe, but I do think. And what about between like your Thor or all of them? Do you like any? I like Thor.
I like Thor.
I like those shows. I think they're very entertaining.
Yeah.
The movies are great.
Yeah. Iron Man and all that.
Yep.
Yeah. I think they give us a sense of hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
The show, yeah.
My favorite of those is probably Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
He plays a great part. Of course, he's out now. I mean, he's not going to be in the new movies unless they bring him back from the dead, which they do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
We learned that years ago with Dallas.
That's right.
Oh, in the shower.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd
the
be
shower
great.
scene, yeah. Well, so anyway, so Superhero Day, so get out and enjoy your superhero. And so I guess everybody's at Salem Crossing is all decked out, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a few of us dressed, and then there's others that are like, no, we're not dressing up.
But really, to be honest, you know, all of the folks at Salem Crossing, you guys are all superheroes.
Yes.
You know, every day.
Every day.
Every day, you guys superheroes for sure.
Invisible capes every day.
I love that. Love that. This is Child Care Professionals Day. Hats off to all of our.
Hats off to them.
Yeah. Clean Comedy Day. I love good clean comedy.
Mhm.
You know, when it's something that's. I like it sometimes whenever they go dirty or they go, you know, maybe a little bit raw or whatever you want to call it. It feels like they're reaching, trying harder to get it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think good clean comedy can be done. You know, laughter is funny, and it can be really. You know, you don't have to go some of the places where they think
Right.
they go. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think they get desperate for some stuff sometimes, and they go that direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they don't have to. You know, when you're really funny, you can pull it off.
Yes.
Which I kind of think I'm kind of funny. I try to. My husband, I've got him saying, "You're the funniest person I know."
That's good.
You know, some women care about that roast or whatever. You know, it was the best roast I've ever had. I care about funny. You know, am I funny? Yeah, you're the funniest person I know. I'm like. I had to work on that one. Let's see, Great Poetry Reading Day. We just had poetry reading yesterday, so I don't know what's up with that. International Pay It Forward Day. Do you remember the lines at McDonald's and people, like, everybody was paying it forward? I think there were, like, I can't remember, like, it was like 30 or 40, you know, like, just completely consistent people going through paying it forward.
They still do it occasionally, though.
I know, I love that.
I do too.
Yeah. National Arbor Day. Planting the tree.
Plant the tree.
Plant the tree. Ooh, here we go. Looks like something. Ooh, National Blueberry Pie Day.
Mm.
I take blueberry pie. Glenn, you like blueberry pie?
No, I don't like blueberries.
Blueberries are so good for you,
No,
Glenn.
I'm not a berry person.
Are you not?
No.
Christy, I'm sure, has all kinds of recipes.
Oh yeah. Yep, I'm just not especially strawberries. I'm just not a I like the flavor of strawberries, but I just can't eat the strawberries.
I love all berries, I think.
Yeah.
I love them.
Berries are so good for us, too.
They are.
Let's see here. Blueberry Pie Day. I'm on for that. National Cubicle Day. You know, the little cubicles.
Too small for me.
Yeah. National Hairball Awareness Day. Hairball.
Oh.
We don't have cats, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, we have a cat now, and she had kittens. Here, Sissy Baby had kittens, and so anyway, yeah, I'm more of a dog person, but you know, you become a cat person when
You do.
when the cat takes you. You know what I mean?
I have dogs and cats.
Yeah. This is National Historic Marker Day. We have a lot of historic markers in our community, and you just drive around, look around, you'll see it.
We have one at Salem Speedway.
Oh, tell us about that, Glenn.
Yeah, they dedicated it, I think, about 5 years ago. They came in and marked it as a historic, Indiana historic racing spot. So
Oh,
it's
that's awesome.
so much history there. Yep. It's a nice marker. It's right there in the front, and we're proud of it. Even have it insured. It's even insured. So.
Oh, I love that. Well, yeah, well, you never know, you know, somebody backing up or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because Tony Stewart raced there, didn't he?
Oh yeah. There's been a lot. I mean, Tony's just the beginning of the list of.
Okay, we're going to
people
get into that. Hang
Yeah.
on,
Sorry.
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
I like Tony Stewart.
All right, we're going there. We're going to get there. National Kiss Your Mate Day. So, Glenn, did you kiss Christy before you left?
No.
Okay.
I'm in
Keep
trouble.
on your list. What about you?
Always.
Yeah, me too. I do. Yeah. National Superhero Day. Yay, we already did that. Workers Memorial Day. Okay. Work Day for Safety and Health at Work. Every day again. Always. Yeah. All right. So get out and enjoy. That's a little bit of today is and a little bit of celebrating for sure. All right. Got to give. Tonight is the Salem High School Alumni Banquet. And exciting for sure, and doing a lot of catching up, getting caught up with a lot of people tonight. So you can contact Kenny and Shirley Nell if you want to see if there's any tickets available. I think they might have already cut it off, but you can always ask and beg, and maybe they can find one or two, get you in the door. So that's going to be exciting. Also, gearing up, getting ready for the rodeo this weekend at the Yum Center, and today they're going to be laying the dirt. It's the first time, or fourth time ever in history of the Yum Center to ever put dirt on the floor at the Yum Center.
So how many tons does it take?
I have it. It's so many. Yeah, it's like, it's a lot of tons. Yeah, a lot of tons of dirt. I'll have to put that up.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
They did send me that, so I'm gonna anyway see if I can go down and get some photos. But can you imagine, like, Glenn, because you're really a neat person, right? Are you not, or are you? Are you? I'm just thinking, like, for people, Holly, you are, right, too?
Oh,
But
I'm not a dirt. I mean, I've raced both. I've raced asphalt and I've raced dirt. That racing would be okay if it wasn't so dirty.
if it wasn't dirty, that's what I was gonna say. Can you imagine, like, all that dirt in there? I mean,
I mean, it's amazing how, I mean, I can't imagine what the cleanup is.
That's
and
what
the
I'm
dust
thinking,
and
the
stuff.
cleanup. That's what I'm
Yeah.
wondering.
that's what I'm wondering. You know, it'd be one
Putting
thing.
it in is different than taking. That's what Bristol does, the same thing. Bristol puts dirt on their half-mile racetrack and raced dirt the last. They did it several years ago, and they took it out. They quit. They had a lot of problems with people suing them on their AC units and stuff. They clogged up because there's so much dirt that was coming out of the track and going into the houses and
goodness.
some houses away and stuff. So then they kind of got desperate to revive their race a little bit. It got a little boring and stuff, so they brought it in again. And it cost them $1 million to put it down and $1 million to take it up.
Oh my gosh.
But it's kind of revitalized their spring race. But I can't, they do it for 3 weeks. They do it for not only for just for the Cup race, but they bring in several other series too and race it for something different, something, trying to
If you were
excite
going to put $1 million into it, I would think 3 weeks would be. I'd go a fourth or a fifth week.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
How many
money.
weeks can we
It's a
milk
lot of
this,
money.
That's right.
Got to get our money's worth, but I'm sure that they do. Yeah, I'm sure, no doubt on that. But I'm thinking that I think of like a Dr. Seuss thing that they have probably that sucks up the dirt. I don't know, or something. I don't know, like you're like a, right, or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. I mean, because you can't blow it. I mean, you can't, right? I mean,
It's probably clay, which is a little bit more tacky, so they can actually pick it up, probably scoop it up pretty easy. And like what they do at Bristol, we did it at the Speedway. We used to do tractor pulls on pit road, and we would actually lay real thick plastic now, so that you could actually pick it up with the plastic, and it was a lot easier to dump it. So
Brilliant.
you don't want it to be dusty because that makes it bad. So you want, if it's clay and you keep it a little damp, then it keeps the dust down.
So, and laying something down. See, I always forget that. That's
Yep.
probably brilliant. Yeah, they probably just like, how like,
It's a little easier to clean up.
yeah, a lot easier. Well, I was just trying to figure out how in the world to clean up. I was thinking then you'd have to mop afterwards. I mean, I'm just thinking about.
No,
I'm thinking about my kitchen floors. You know what I'm saying? All of that work, but it's going to be worth it. So they're going to be laying the dirt, and then of course the rodeo at the Yum Center. You can get your tickets online. Will be Saturday and Sunday. Exciting time for that. Then of course, we have got May the 2nd, which is Tuesday. We'll get ready for election right here in the city of Salem, and that will be at the Armory. It'll be Salem 1 through 4, and so remember to bring your driver's license or some kind of a ID, and it will be a Republican ballot only. So no matter if you are a Democrat, it doesn't matter. You'll be on a Republican ballot. That doesn't mean you have to change parties. That just, everybody gets nervous. You don't have to change parties. Just doing that, it's a lot cheaper. She saved, I can't remember how many thousands of dollars, by just doing the one, because we didn't have any opposed races. So anyway, so that was good on their end. So that'd be election, and then of course we'll be starting on May. Then we have the Derby coming up May the 6th. So yeah, so it's $5,000 she saved. Yeah, I was like,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
$5,000. So that's, I'll take saving
Take it.
$5,000. Yeah, anytime our community can save $5,000, that's good. So anyway, then we'll have full election coverage too, and it'll begin approximately 6:30 or so. It should be a quick night for sure on that. So anyway, so that's exciting. And let's jump in. Let's see what we got going on. Glenn, let's go back first of all, and let's talk about the Salem Speedway. Let's do the history of it, and then also let's talk about all kinds of stuff going on and your involvement. And tell us first of all your title and a little bit about yourself with racing.
Well, I'm a general manager at Salem Speedway. This is my second time around. I was there from 95, actually, when the Thompsons bought the Speedway.
Yeah.
Back in 95, I was racing in Louisville and was kind of looking for something different to do. and put my resume in with Owen, and Owen actually hired me as his marketing manager. We only ran 5 races the first year. We got halfway through the year, and I became the general manager in '97 and stayed through 2000. During that time, we started something called CRA, which is a big touring racing series that I formed with my partner R.J. Scott. And that kind of started taking off while I was doing the track, and so I decided to do that full time after the 2000 season. So I did that from 21 till last year. So it was quite 25 years total that we had CRA, and we actually sold it a year ago, January, to a gentleman named Bob Sargent with Track Enterprises. He bought it, and I had to work a year for him. That was part of my agreement. So I worked my year, and then about the time that was done, Nick Bohannon called me and said he was looking at the racetrack and possibly going to buy the track, and he wanted me to be his general manager, and told him I needed to think about it a little bit and see what, I wanted to make sure he got the track first. And there were some issues going back and forth, working through lawyers and that stuff to get the track sold. So he finally took it. And me and Christy talked about it a lot, and after being on the road for 25 years of every weekend, pretty much April through November, and then sometime in the off season too, that she said, well, maybe it's time to come back home and a little less travel and go back to the track, which was kind of neat. I mean, it's neat to go back where I started. I never really left. I mean, I still did races out there. I helped Richard do some stuff. I helped Bill Nisley when he had it. I worked with race director for several of his races and stuff. And plus, CRA did race out there several times too. So people ask me, would you ever dream you would be back there? And actually, I always thought I would. I thought at some point I would end up back at. That would be the way that I would end my racing, career and retire from Salem. So it's pretty neat to be back there. Nick and Megan are the new owners. Very young. People are surprised when they meet them. They're only 34 years old. Nick's had his own businesses since he was 17 years old. He used to race USAC midgets, so he does have a racing background. Has raced at Salem. Didn't really have, I guess, buying a racetrack on his radar until he came out to Salem for the Halloween 200, which is always a huge event. And just the people that were there, the energy and stuff, and he just kind of, I think I want to buy this racetrack. So he knew it was up for sale. There was 2 other people that were also looking at the track too, and he was the first one to put a down payment on it. So he's the first one that they got it, and he ended up buying it. So he closed the first week of January. I came to work for him January 7th. So we were a little bit behind the 8 ball because we didn't get the fall and stuff to get stuff going. So I told Nick this first year will be a little rough, get things going, but he's an eager beaver. He wanted me to be, I guess, his grounding person, to keep him grounded and trying to keep him in line. Because I told him, I said, you could go broke out here because it is so old and it always needs something done to it. I said, it hadn't had a lot of money spent on it in a while. I said it needs some love and care. I said, but let's do it a little bit at a time. And been trying to keep him on that track, but he wanted to patch the track. Most of the pavement hadn't been touched since 1977. They did pave 3 and 4 about 10 years ago. Owen did. So it was pretty bad shape, been patched a lot. So he talked about patching it again and had 4 different companies come in. And finally he decided to bite the bullet, and we paved the front stretch, we paved the back stretch, did a lot of patching in 1 and 2. He wanted to pave the turn, but paving companies didn't want to take a chance on tearing up their paving equipment because of the banks. So he went, you're going to wait and do that probably after the end of the season this year. But big difference. I mean, I think people are going to be surprised. Racers that have been out there and tested so far have been really surprised how smooth it is now compared to what it was. So it built a lot of enthusiasm and a lot more excitement at the track. So, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, he's done a lot out there. I mean, we've had Sullivan's come in and do the bathroom floors. Redid both the men's and women's main bathrooms, all new fixtures and stuff. Our 3rd floor, we redid the floor up there, and I got it all done. It had been in rough shape. But that building had been there since '96. It was kind of funny because we left in 2000. Christy was there with me when we worked, and she hadn't been back there at all since then. So when we walked in, all she remembers it being brand new pretty much, and it was not brand new anymore. But it looks really good, and we've done a lot of work and painted and just cleaned it all out. There was a lot of stuff that accumulated, not just Bill, not just Owen, but stuff that was still left when the Ghetto Fingers had the track. So he's taken, I don't know how many loads of roll-offs out of scrap and trash and cleaned up behind turn 4. There was a lot of stuff just sitting around. He's just wanted to clean all that up. We've had an electrician there probably for 5 weeks of just getting stuff rewired, trying to get stuff up to code, and some stuff just needed to be done. they had some issues with lights going off and overheating and that kind of stuff, so we're trying to fix all that. We fixed our safety lights. They had some issues with safety lights, so he spent all that. Megan walked into the concession stand and said, "This has all got to go." So she took all the old equipment out. It had all been there since '96, and she's putting all new equipment in. That's a process. It's taken a while to get all that in and get that done. So, but all that's going to be new. So there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of work, and there's stuff that he wants to continue to do. So it's starting to come together. We put right in the middle of putting all new scoring loops in, which is a pretty big task, getting all that, and we're rewiring all the scoring stuff. We use electronic scoring for all the races, so it just helps to have all that. And it was stuff had worked, and sometimes, and I just told him, I said, we just need to go in, replace it, get it to where it all works, so we don't have that issue anymore. So they're in the process, actually working on that yesterday and today. So stuff's coming together. A lot of paint. Got lucky that a gentleman at PPG, who I knew his father, walked in, and so they came in and helped us a bunch. Got a lot of paint. We've gone through a lot of paint. So got a lot more to go.
Yeah.
So, but it's been exciting. I've enjoyed it. I did drag Christy back in and tell her she's going to have to help. This is going to be a team effort. That's right.
Stand by your man, woman.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's been good to be out there. They've been good to work with, and I think it's going to be great. There's just, like I said, there's a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of people are really excited about what's going on. So our goal is to get the track back to what it used to be. I don't think it'll ever be what it was back in the 60s and the 70s, because there's just not that many race fans. That place used to just be so packed with people. But we want to get it back to the tradition and try to get open wheel racing back there. We don't think they've had USAC sprints. They don't even race on asphalt anymore, and that's what everybody wants out there. But there's a group out of Anderson, Indiana, called 500 Sprints, and they're building around their little 500 race, and they're actually doing some touring. So our goal is to have those come back next year, and probably USAC Silver Crown, which haven't been out there for a long time either, because that's always been kind of the tradition. It was a big open wheel racing track. Guys would go from Indianapolis, and then they'd come down and race sprint cars and Silver Crown cars there, and a lot of that's gone. Even that doesn't happen as much like it used to, like when AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti and those guys all would come down and race. Right. So our goal is to build that back and get open wheel racing back as one of the lead things at the track. So we're pretty excited.
No doubt. So when they fill the holes, there's a hole in the track, so they just fill it and then they just smooth over it, or how do they do that?
They come in and they have a tamping machine, which is it's a big square thing, and I mean it takes two people to hold this thing because it pounds it into it. And for the asphalt on the front stretch, they actually brought the rollers in like they use, but for the turns you just can't get a roller really on the turn. So even when they go and pave the turn, they'll have to have a bulldozer up on top with cables to hold it, because it can't go, it'll slide right down the banking, and it's a lot of work because you got to get the asphalt up there. The dump trucks can't go up the hill to get it in the hopper, so they have to dump it and then have something to put it in the hopper and stuff. So it's a lot of work. Even when the milling machines came in at the end of the straightaways, they didn't want to go very far into the turn because it's just the computers didn't like the banking and stuff. So they actually came out. They had a lot of they had 3 Bobcats with little portable ones on it. So it was quite. I mean, there were days there before our first practice when we had probably 25 to 30 people working at the racetrack in all different areas and different things. So it was quite the feat. But they got the asphalt done. I mean, he's kind of disappointed. He feels like he should have done a little bit more, but I think he's taken it a lot. So. And pit road was really bad. And the biggest thing, guys were just tired of driving through potholes and that kind of stuff because, race cars cost a lot of money. So he got all that fixed. So that was a really good thing. So there's a lot of little things he's done, and there's a lot of big things he's done, and still things that he wants to do. So.
Well, it looks like his priorities are good. I mean, he's got some good priorities, because the drivers, I wouldn't want to, those potholes, nobody like that, in driving. And I think attention to the detail, but you have to remember you can't eat the whole elephant all at once.
Right.
Take one bite at a time, one bite at a time. It didn't happen overnight like this.
Right.
So can't expect it. I get where he's coming from, and we appreciate that he's wanting that. And I think that's good to know. But Glenn, so years ago, so you're no stranger to this. So has things changed from when you were, there many years ago till now? I mean, I know we talk about the track and stuff, but I'm talking about racing itself.
It has. I mean, racing's gone through, asphalt racing especially, it just got so expensive. Engineering has just made it just, I mean, everything. Dirt racing, the good thing about dirt racing, you can take an old car and you can put a really good driver in it, and the driver can make up for the difference. But in asphalt racing, you really can't do that. The cars are so engineered now. So much technology came down from the NASCAR level that it used to take a while, and sometimes we wouldn't see it for 2 or 3 years, and now it's within months. They find something, and I tell racers all the time, you're your own worst enemy, because you want to go and you want to win, so you'll spend sometimes whatever it takes to do that. So prices have gone up, expenses. I mean, it's crazy, the price of tires, especially after COVID. I mean, things just went up. I know everything has gone up, but it's just amazing what a set of tires costs. And they'll go out and use them in 1 or 2 races, and you're talking $600 or $700 just for a set of tires. That's just for the street stock guys. That's not for what a late model guy pays. But that, and the purses, they really haven't kept up with that. Like people's pay hasn't necessarily kept up with how prices keep going up. So we've battled a lot of that. We've tried to come up with creative ways to make it more economic for drivers to come out and race. We have a class called Crown Vic class, which are just old. Most of them are the old police Crown Vics, and it's just an economy class. We have a lot of rules as far as what they can't do. That's what most of it is. It's like we want to keep them from becoming race cars and being too expensive, so a guy can get one of those for a couple $1,000s and you go out and have fun and race. And that's one of the growing class. We didn't have that class at Salem when I was there before. We had late models and some different things, and we just can't afford to have them. There's just not enough late models now to do that. So we got to get creative on the lower end and try to make some bigger races for those guys, and to get people from all around Southern Indiana, Kentucky. I mean, we've got support. I mean, anywhere from Columbus, Ohio, all the way down through Bullitt County in Kentucky, the people that race with us, a lot of guys and stuff. So they can only travel so far. It's just the price of gas is tough. I mean, just for a guy to pull a race car from Bullitt County to Salem is going to cost a lot of money. So, but that's probably been one of the biggest changes. Fans have changed too. I mean, it's unfortunately everybody's a weatherman now. Everybody has it on their phone. So, and the Weather Channel, as soon as it hits 30%, they show raindrops, and it's like, there's still 70% it's not going to rain. Yeah. But people see that, and then they got, well, do I want to drive all the way to Salem? Because we have to rely upon a lot of people driving a long ways to come to our races. So the weatherman can be tricky. I mean, as soon as they start seeing 40, 50% chance of rain, and they really start, well, do I really want to do it? Usually they end up planning doing something else. So that makes it tough. That part of it, technology is great, but it also makes it tough, sometimes for businesses like us that are outside and weather related. Our first race, we were supposed to race April 16th, and we ended up canceling that because of weather. I mean, the rain popped up, and then it got cold and windy, and Christy says I'm worse than a farmer, because, I mean, I'm 2 weeks out, I'm already looking what the weather is, and she says, it's going to change. I said, I know, but I just can't help it. I said, I got to watch it. But, it's neat, because there's still some people. I mean, a gentleman named David Wren, who's a scorer, Travis Kern, a tech guy, GB&D, who work in the racetrack, Barry Smedley, our flagman. They were all there when I was there before. So there's still a lot of people there that were there. There's still a lot of racers, and what's neat too is a lot of the street stock races are actually guys that I used to race with at Louisville, and when I raced at Salem some too. So it's kind of neat to go back, and I know those people, so it's not like I have to learn a lot of people. So that part of it makes it a little easier. But fans are a lot tougher. It's just there's so much to do. I mean, so much to do now. So you really got to be creative on trying to get people to come to the racetrack, and that's hard to do. Everybody's hurdle, I think, in racing right now is getting kids involved with it. Kids are just so distracted with other stuff. I mean, they'd rather sit there and look on their phone sometimes, or a tablet and stuff, and trying to get them to come to the racetrack. And you really can't have a 4 or 5 hour race show. You've got to have 2 or 3 hours, and that's it. Because people, they want to go do something else. So it's got to make it a good show, make it a tight show, and that's something I've had to educate racers with. That you guys got to help us with that. You got to be ready to go. We can't just sit here all day. I know, and we don't have a lot of practice time like we used to. We've cut back practice times because it costs them money. I mean, the more laps they run, the more fuel they burn, the more chances of wearing out tires and that kind of stuff. So we've shortened. We're not doing as many practices as we used to do, and we're shortening the days a little bit to try to get everybody in and out a little faster too. So it is a lot different than what it used to be.
Yeah, no doubt. When you mentioned Barry Smedley, I want to say his mom and dad worked here at the radio station, and Boyd actually, Boyd and Norma and Boyd actually raced years ago there
Mhm.
at the Speedway. So Barry's got he's kind of got a big racing history for sure. So
Yep.
I'm so happy that he's still with it, and I'm so glad that he still races, doesn't he, or does he?
No,
race?
he's our flagman.
Flagman. Okay.
Yeah, he worked on the safety team, was a safety guy for a long time, and now he's a flagman. And they still do a Boyd Smedley Award every year,
They should.
and they give it out to the person who I guess is the most dedicated they felt for the year for the racetrack and stuff. So they do that every season. They did it at the banquet that they had back in March from
As
last
they should.
season and
That's-
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He drove it like he stole it. All right, so let's going. I love the history, and I love that. I think the thing that I wondered too, like on racing, we carry all kinds of racing here on the radio station here, WSLM, and some of it though, like they kind of have a formula that they want the cars to be. Years
Mhm.
ago, I love that. Like let's go back years ago when your pit crew or your working crew were just very creative on how they did things. And now it's kind of almost like a kit, if you will, that you kind of have to go by, right?
Mhm.
And I miss some of that because I loved that creativeness. I love seeing those engineers, those mechanics that knew special tricks and new things. Do you kind of miss some of that, or is that?
Well, we have. I mean, I think.
Or is that still going on?
I think that hurt in NASCAR's levels. That's really what it's come down to. I mean, it's basically they tell you exactly what you got to build,
Yeah.
and now even the cars they have now are even more because they wanted to cost was a big factor. They were trying to eliminate the cost. So now the Cup cars, they have one person that makes each part, and that's so that kind of takes away a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
And the crew chiefs are the same way. We still, with our gas series, which is our street stock division, which are some of the best street stock drivers in the country, they can still be creative. They challenge Travis a lot. We had a lot of guys that in the last couple of years started bringing out some what they call a leaf spring car, which is kind of like a Camaro type frame, and it was something new that people hadn't really toyed with. They didn't think it would work at the track, and so people have started doing that, and it's kind of created a challenge for Travis because it's something a little different that he has to tech and stuff. And Will Kimmel came out last year and just really just stunk up the show at the Halloween 200, just killed him. I mean, he was so fast and nobody could do it, and he was driving one of those cars. So now you got all these guys thinking, well, that's what I need, that's what I got to have. So a lot of them have gone out and bought them. We've had some guys testing them, and so there's still some creativity there, but you're right, there's just not as much as it used to be. I mean, everybody, our cars unfortunately are like Chevrolets, are mostly Chevrolets in the gas series, and it's hard to find bodies because people just don't have the cars, and so they actually can buy aftermarket body from 5 Star, a company out of Wisconsin, and 99% of them are all Monte Carlos. I mean, unfortunately, they just don't make a Ford body or a Mopar body or something like that. But I mean, in the late models, they'll come with CRA when they come here June 3rd. They're kind of the same way. I mean, it's an aftermarket body and a chassis, and it's all bolted on, and they're basically the same body except for the nose. They'll change the nose piece just a little bit, but that's the only thing that it is. But I mean, it's kind of like I said, it kind of goes back and forth. You got to keep guys. If things just didn't cost so much, you could probably let them be a little bit more creative, but sometimes the creativity gets expensive, and that's when you got to say, well, we got to try to keep it in line. So, but yeah, I mean, it's not what it used to be on any level. So.
Yeah. Well, I think racing. What I've seen too is that they're really trying to get women more involved too. You know what I mean? And I know that that also a lot of times this is what the meetings that I've sat in. They felt like that a lot of times, ladies, we don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Right? I mean, you know what I mean? Well, like, let's go to football. You know what I mean? At an early age, I learned football. So I'm a female that loves football. You know what I mean? But I also understand the game. And when you understand racing, you know what I mean? So they were trying to get, like, ladies more educated, which would also get the children more involved, correct? Is that something that...
Yeah, I think I mean, it's gone back and forth. I think it's obviously still a male-dominated sport. I mean, by far. I mean, they've had some come in and done really well. Haley Deegan, she's a NASCAR truck racer, and she's been around. Her dad is Brian Deegan, who's on, like, I guess I forgot what they call it. He does the motorcycles, and he does a lot of different things. He's well known, and he helped her get in. But she's a #1 Ford followed athlete right now.
Oh.
And
Awesome.
because I mean, and she does, because she crosses over. She goes over from motorcycles and stuff, and her dad but she's not the greatest driver, but she can do it. She does a good job, but she's just got such a strong following that it's amazing that the people that follow. And ARCA, actually, I think they had 6 women in their Daytona race. So there's a lot out there. Unfortunately, when you get to that level, it's mostly money driven. So it's the ability to go out and get the money to go to a race. We don't have a lot. I mean, our street stocks, we don't have any women in that. We do have women in our Crown Vics. We've got several of them that race. They keep bugging me about doing a powder puff race, so we're gonna maybe do that. But we've got 3 or 4 of them that are out racing with the guys.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat to see, everybody, like when Danica Patrick was around, that was a big thing. She had a huge following. I mean, she was one of the most demanded to come to racetracks and sign autographs and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because she has such a huge following that people would come out and see her. So.
Did they not see us trying to get the kids to school on time? Did they not realize how fast? The mom taxi is a real thing, Glenn.
Oh, I've got one that's pretty wild behind the wheel.
There you go. I know that. I've ridden with yours. Yes, we can drive it like we stole it for sure. When we have to get to a practice or a meeting or something, or get the kids to school, we can hit it pretty hard.
Make it happen.
Yeah. So I think moms, don't. Yeah.
And Christy actually raced at Louisville Speedway. She did some powder puff racing. Yeah, that was probably the most nervous I've ever been at a racetrack, was when she was racing. But no, she did. She got out before she had Austin. She did some races, and she did pretty good out there. She actually had a bigger trophy than I did for a long time. And
I love that. Put that on the map.
I finally won one. A guy came down and rented the track down at Louisville, and he advertised 6-foot trophy. So I was bound to determine I was going to get a 6-foot trophy, and I did. And she didn't go. When I came home and brought it and set it beside the bed and woke her up and said, "Hey, look what I got." She looks over and okay, and goes back to sleep. But to me, it was everything. So.
Oh, I love that. Well, now I actually have driven the Kentucky Speedway track too.
The big track.
And and did a what is it where they do the
ride along?
Where they I drove.
Okay.
Yeah, I drove one time, and then I did another time. I went for the ride along.
Okay.
And the ride along, I'm again a thrill seeker, so I'm like, don't hold back. Now, I'm not, I'm not the girl that you're gonna, and he got it, which I loved. So, and then which when I drove, he was like, the other guy that I had for the driving, he was like, "Oh wow." I was like, "Yeah, I get it." And then I did the Speedway too, actually Salem Speedway. Very first, I did my mini bike when I was little.
There you
got
go.
in big trouble. I'll never forget that. It was huge trouble. I didn't go up on the high bank. Okay, I stayed low, but I got in big trouble for that. That was my little bit of a rebel. I was young. And anyway, and then I also won a tricycle race there. So I want to say I've got some, got some claim to fame there. And I beat the mayor, and it was kind of fun. That's been years ago.
That's one of my favorite things to do, is somebody come out and I ask them if they want to go for a ride. I like doing that. People don't realize. I mean, they think they're flying, and you're really not going that fast. But you go into the turn, and they're like, you can tell them, you can feel them tighten up. It's like, because you really get close to the wall, and people are, eyes get big, and we had a couple. They actually did a Kentucky and a 4-dealers commercial on Tuesday, and we had some guys from the Army coming out. They wanted to talk to me about doing some stuff, and I was driving one of the cars for them on the track, and I said, "Well, come on in and hop in," and they had never been in anything like that before, and they were nonstop, just so it thrilled them to death to come out there and just do that, and it was a good chance for me to talk to them, while we were doing that kind of stuff.
So while you're driving and going like crazy fast, you're sitting there telling him, "Well, we do this and we like to do this."
Because he's not driving that fast.
It's like I was thinking like Men in Black. How remember how he keeps talking whenever as he's driving like that. Go Glenn, that's fun. Well, and I think that's a thing that we have such a rich history, and I think the Speedway has always been near and dear to this community.
Oh yeah, I mean I think we're the number one. I mean, in my opinion, we're the number one tourist attraction. I mean, for the number of people that we get for a race that come in, for the many events that we do, I think it, makes a difference. I mean, Washington County Tourism, they've come on board and really helped us a lot, and they recognize that we bring people in. Scott County Tourism had helped for a while out there, but they changed their board members and just wanted to spend their money in the county. But the guy that was the director there, he kept, basically told them, "Look, there's there's people that stay and come because there's not enough hotels in Salem, so they have to stay in Scottsburg. And so we drive a lot of business to that area. Like, good example, we had a drifting event this past weekend, and we'd do 4 of those, and I had never seen a drifting event till this past weekend. And I called the guy because I said, it's going to rain Friday. He said, they don't care. And it was pouring down rain, and they're out there just giving it hell, just drifting. But the thing was, they were all going to camp. Well, with the weather being cool and rain, they all went to the hotel, so we filled up, the hotels here pretty quick on Friday night and Saturday night. And, if we hadn't been having that event, they wouldn't have got that business. So, that's just a touch. Hopefully, I know the construction for the one hotel is tough right now because it's hard really to get to the night's end. But so I know, a lot of guys went out to Scottsburg to do that, but not only hotels, but restaurants, C-stores, all that stuff. I think
anytime somebody comes in the community, they're using our.
And that's kind of one of our goals is to build back the attendance for a lot of these races, and to promote and to get people back into the county and try to get them to spend more money, because I think it benefits us, but it benefits the whole county. Every business that's here.
So let's talk. Okay, so when a person has a car, so let's say that Holly and we are racers and we're going to get a car. Do we pay to race, or how is that? Okay, you pay an entry.
Well, it just depends. We have them register.
Somebody wants to enter.
Somebody wants to enter.
Okay, go ahead.
So they want to. They pay an entry fee, a small. When we have a registration, they have to buy a pit pass, and they have to sign all the documentation for insurance and stuff. But we do pay. Everything that we have pays out. But it's all hobby. Nobody makes enough money.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, nobody makes enough money.
That, you do have to pay, your fee, plus your getting your vehicle, plus your pit crew, plus, like you said, gasoline to get there. And so a lot of our drivers have got other jobs.
Oh yeah, all of them do. Yeah.
So this is just more of a hobby, but it's an expensive hobby.
Oh, it is. And people ask me about, well, what's the cheap? I said, well, there's really not what I would call cheap racing anymore.
Yeah.
We have a scrapper division that Bill started last year. That basically it's just a street car you take out, and you take the glass out of the car, you get a helmet, and you can go race on it. We keep them on a short track and run a short distance on that track. And that's more just to get people out there and get them interested, and maybe they get the bug and they go forward with that. So it's hard. They have to be dedicated to what they're doing, which most of them are. But racing is one of those things that once you've done it and you get it in your blood, it's hard to get it out of. I haven't raced since 2002, but when I was turning laps on Tuesday with that little Mustang thing they had out there, I was like,
Gets in your blood.
Yeah, I get the itch, and I'm like, maybe I should get a car again.
Christy, we need to get a car.
But I can't work at the track and race at the track, so I can't.
Okay.
That'll keep me from doing that. But it's tough. Nobody's really making money except for the Cup drivers, in my opinion. Even the Truck Series, I think the statistic I had, I think last year there was only 2 truck drivers that actually got paid. The rest of them all had to pay to get in their cars. And same thing with the Xfinity is pretty much the same thing. And Cup drivers don't make what they used to. Back when Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., those guys made millions and millions of dollars. And what happened, they kind of bit NASCAR in the butt because they paid those guys so much money, but by the time they got 40-something years old, they're like, why am I doing this? I can retire and I can go play with my kids and do what I want to for the rest of my life. And they lost so much star power over that. So the guys that are coming in now, the William Byrons, Ryan Blaney, that kind of Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott probably makes a little bit more because he's very popular because of his dad, Bill, but they just don't make what they used to make. They finally learned that, we got to control it a little bit. So
Glenn, on the family, I know we're encouraging families to come, and that's something, Dad, years ago, we've always had a relationship at the radio station with the Speedway years ago, and they would always encourage families to come. So are your prices, what are the prices to admission to
for a regular race? It's $15 for general admission, $20 for a chairback, and 12 and under is free. So 12 and under can get in free. We used to be, back when I was there before, it was 5 and under. So that's the step we've taken to try to get more families and to save them a little bit of money. So
well, when you have 1,000 kids,
Yeah.
and
the thing is, we know that when people walk in the gate, those kids are going to want something to drink, something to eat. So
Oh,
you let them in free, and
absolutely.
and you generate some income off the concession part of
the
it too.
candy and the ice cream and
And
all
extra
the
salt
things.
on that popcorn, so they have to have the big soft drink.
Yes.
But I think our prices are very reasonable compared to. I mean, it'll be a little bit higher for the ARCA race, a little higher for our semi race that we're going to have, but still it's not outrageous. I mean,
Right.
you're not
No,
paying
it's very fair.
hundreds of dollars of what people pay to go do some. So we try to keep it. I mean, we realize the area that we're in, and you've got to be able to, for just your local people and people out to come. I mean, you just can't rely upon high dollar people with money. So you got to keep it affordable as you can. We do. I mean, most of the races I would say we're special event racetracks. All of them are special events. We try to promote them. We're trying, like I said, next year we're hoping to bring in some more outside series to try to build those races even more than what they were this year. So it's a project, and it's going to take some time to do that. So.
Oh, definitely. I'm just thinking too. That's a blessing, those prices, because you want the community, you want people to be able to be a part and to come and see that, and for families that's affordable and they don't have to drive.
Right.
You're right here. It's nice, and the prices are reasonable, and I think that's a good deal.
Yeah,
But I think those prices have been around for a while.
I know Bill had the same prices for the last 3 years, and I think that Richard did too for a while. So it's pretty consistent. We haven't really, like I said, increased it. We try to keep the pit pass price down as low as we can. Unfortunately, we can't control the price of tires and fuel and that kind of stuff. So that stuff just goes up. We've done some. Our purses. We actually raised the purses in every division. Not a lot, but we did go up a little bit. We felt like we needed to make the increase with the increase in cost. So we're trying to keep up with some of that, and we've got some good response from that. So it's, like I said, I told Nick, I said, any little positive things we can do, that's what we're trying to do. And I tell you, the biggest thing is I can't believe the sponsorship stuff how well it's gone. We've had a lot of support from the local people, on the local businesses. They've really stepped up. People that hadn't been out there for a while, in a few years, and I was able to go in and talk to them and convince them. And the sell is just like we just talked about. We're trying to build something and make it bigger and better. So their involvement helps us do that. So hopefully it helps the whole county and the city of Salem. So.
Well, that's something that you said earlier. We got new owners, and they got new mindset and new ways of doing things. So let's give them a chance and let's see how they do.
Oh yeah, and the good thing is, like I said, it's funny because Nick, he's got 3 other businesses that he has, and he actually, like I said, he started his first one when he was 17, and he's actually been up in this area. He's got a trucking business that ships scrap, and he's had a lot of trucks up in this area a lot to ship every day. And he said, I really like the racetrack. He said, I know it's going to take a while for me to get my investment back. He said, but I really like being up here. He said, I'm almost thinking about selling my other businesses. I said, no, don't do that.
No.
I said, you're going to need those other businesses for a while to help this place grow and get it going. So, but Nick's there, every day pretty much. Megan comes up too, his wife, and they're hands on. They come in, they work, they want to do stuff. I mean, Nick, he was out putting caulk in the scoring loops and stuff yesterday, and he's involved, and sometimes he gets a little too involved because I can't find him. He'll be off on his Bobcat cleaning something somewhere and doing something. Once he gets rolling on stuff, he gets going. And he's got, like I said, a lot of guys that have been up there working. He does a lot. He does some dismantling of like warehouses and factories and stuff for scrap, and he's got some guys that are pretty handy with doing a lot of work, and he's got a lot of equipment. I mean, I'm amazed at some of the stuff he's brought in to help us, and that's what you need. I mean, we got brooms and brushes and blowers and stuff that the racetrack really hasn't had in a few years, and it's helped keep the place cleaner. And
so nice to see them.
Yeah,
so nice to
yeah,
see.
And the drivers are happy because they want to see a clean racetrack and
Sure.
stuff. So anything we can do to do that kind of stuff, it makes them happy. So, but we've got, like I said, we've got bigger ideas and some plans down the road, and we're hoping that continues to grow. And the big things we want to do too is we want to do more events just besides racing. The place, when it's set and empty, it's not doing anything. It's not generating any income, and it's not bringing people in. So like I said, the drifting thing is a little different. But we have, the first one was kind of a small one. I was surprised. Like I said, I couldn't believe that they were out there in the rain. It just amazed me that those guys would come out there. And the next day, we actually ended up with almost twice as many drivers, and even the guy that helps us put on Riverside Drift was surprised. He couldn't believe it. It's a younger crowd, so that's good. We're getting some younger people out there. But we've got a big one that's called the 50K in May, and it's $25,000 to win. Last year they had 84 teams from, I think he said 12 states and three different countries. People that came over and stuff. So that's a big thing. We'll have that on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's a big 3-day deal. So if people have never seen a drifting event, that's a good time to come out and see that. And it's interesting. I mean, it's different. It's not racing.
Well, explain what it is a little bit.
Well, it's more. If you ever saw.
Photo. Remember, we're radio.
Yeah.
So.
Was it Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift? That movie.
Okay.
That's kind of where a lot of people first saw it for the first time. And it's basically they go out in tandems. They tell them they use a combination of the figure 8 little course and come out on the big track in the backstretch. They don't use the banks or anything like that. But it's two cars are side by side, and they brake. They got like they're what you would use for your parking brake is a handle that's this big, and that's what they use.
Wait, okay, we're radio, so how big is that? What
about 3 feet.
Okay, I was supposed to say.
And it's just you're right. You're right. It's this big, but they use the separate brakes so they can they basically can burn out all the time.
Oh,
and that's what they do. They go into turns. They'll be the first car. They tell you have a certain box that you have to hit, and you can't hit the wall, you can't hit the other guy, and you score points by that. And the second car mimics that car, and they're judged on how well they mimic. So they do one run, and then they come back and do another run. They swap. The other person mimics, and it's called knockout. So what they do, so whoever gets the best of those two, you go on. The other one, you're out. So they actually practiced for 10 hours, and their competition only took an hour and 40 minutes, and they were done. So that 10 hours, they were just nonstop on the racetrack. They love it. They get into it. They'll go through. They got lucky because from the rains, they don't go through a lot of tires, but they went through like three sets of tires on Saturday, just burned them up. There was rubber all over the place. But then we had this funny because people come and they want to do ride-alongs, so they'll bring their helmet, and because all these cars, they have passenger seats on them, most of them. So they'll sit there in line and they'll ask if they can go for a ride, and guys will take them so they ride along with it too. So that's something that's something that you don't get. That doesn't get to happen in our oval track racing. Right. So that's something that's kind of cool that people get to do that and stuff. Well, what was funny though is we didn't sell a whole lot of food. Bill came out at Po' Boys and did the food for that day.
He's fantastic.
Oh yeah, he's a race nut. And Friday night they didn't sell a whole lot, and they did okay on Saturday, but it was because they just never got out of their right cars. They were always in their car. It was just crazy how they would just keep doing it. But events like that we can do that helps bring in new people and keeps the track going. We've talked about doing some concerts probably in the future. Probably not this year. It seems like there's kind of concert craze going on right now after COVID. There's so many places that have got concerts, and that's a tough competition right now. But we want to do some things like that.
That would be great.
So just like I said, anything that'll generate some income. There's a rumor that we may bring back a drive-in.
Oh,
So that's something we've talked about a little bit. So I'll start the rumor.
I love drive-ins.
Yeah. So
my daughters have already asked, now when is the drive-ins open, Mom? Like, it's not yet.
I mean, that's something I think that actually is not that. I mean, with the way they do it now over the radio, that you don't have to have the little bit of boxes, and we just have to have a place to have a screen.
Remember the boxes you put them on, and then like if you forgot to put it up, and all of a sudden you went to drive.
I'm sorry, but I still put the box on my window because I like the nostalgia.
Still need the boxes, Glenn. Okay.
Well, that'd be hard to do in the parking lot.
No, it's just not financially worth it.
But that's something that's actually Christy's talked about that for years.
We did it at the fairgrounds years ago. Did a drive-in, and it went over really well.
Yeah, and something. I mean, we wouldn't do it all the time, but something a little different that people can come out every now and then to make it special and that kind of stuff.
So, Glenn, on this, going back to the drifting, is the I'm trying to get my head wrapped around it. It's like a lot, but so you don't get your speeds like you would. Oh no.
I mean, it's still challenging. I mean, because they just they don't go fast, but they do a continuous burnout pretty much.
Okay. And so like if you burn, so like let's say that we're on a team, so you burn out, I had to burn out, right? And I have to do it the same way you did it.
Yep. Well, it's not team car. They pair them up. So they have to go against us. They're trying to beat that other guy. So they're trying to mimic him better than he's going to mimic them.
Okay, so they can have one guy that does it.
Yes.
And then everybody has to mimic him.
Well, they do it in pairs.
Okay.
So and then they whoever does it the best, whoever gets the most points for hitting the boxes, they get to go on. The other guy's out. So they do that all the way till they get to the end. Unfortunately, they got to the end Saturday, and the guy preliminary in the semifinals, he broke his car. And he had like a 5-minute clock to get something fixed, and he tried to get it fixed, and he couldn't get done. So he was, but he was out, so he didn't win. But with the caliber of cars, I mean, that we had, let's say I think we had like 35 cars there this weekend. Out of those 35, for the big one that comes in May, there's probably 2 or 3 of those guys that'll come. The rest of them are higher, bigger teams with a lot more money, and they use nitrous and different things, and it's just amazing. I didn't know anything about it. They had a clinic in March that they came out, and they had like 14 teams come out that were new. Their guy Ryan was out there teaching them and trying to show them how to do it and stuff. But the PRI show, Performance Racing Industry Show in Indianapolis every year in December, you can tell over the last 5 years how drifting has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's a pretty good segment in the motorsports industry right now as far as competition and stuff. So that's something we're trying to grasp. You know, Ryan Meyer, he owns Riverside Drift. He's actually out of Louisville. You know, when we do it, we're actually partners with him. So, you know, if we didn't have him, I wouldn't have a clue what to do. So.
Well, I'm thinking that really, to be honest, that would be a really good crowd pleaser. I mean, that would be fun to watch in a crowd.
Yeah, they don't have. It's more participant driven right now, but I think that's something that people. Well, there were some few people there. I was surprised at some kids that came out. There were some kids that were there, came with parents and stuff, and wanted to see it. So, I do think it's something that I think there is a group of people that would like it, but trying to get them there and learn what it is, that'll be the challenge of trying to see
once you understand what you're trying to, what you're watching here.
Right.
What am I seeing here?
And it is different. I mean, it's a lot different, like I said, than just, racing and stuff. But we talked about doing some. I want to figure out a way to get all these kids with all their big trucks out there, their pickup trucks, do some kind of competition.
In this community,
there's a lot of them. So I don't know. I keep telling Christy, I'm gonna call it a pickup truck rodeo.
Hey, my first vehicle was the very first vehicle I had was a Dodge pickup truck.
Yep.
Died.
And you see them. I mean, now they've even got to where they're putting the under lighting in them and lighting the wells.
Hit my ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So I've got to figure if somebody's got an idea that would work. Don't hesitate to call me at the racetrack because that's something we want to do.
What's the youngest ages that race? What's the age? Is there a certain age that you are allowed to race?
Well, there's 5 and 6 year olds that race. 4, 5, and 6 year olds that race quarter midgets. That's where they kind of start.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a little. I mean,
those are they just came out of the womb.
In CRA, we had. For us, we're a step up. Where I call it was a minor league to NASCAR basically. And in some of our late models, we had I think 5 12-year-olds race with us against adults. I mean, and it was funny. Chase Elliott was one of them. Bill bought him, and Chase started. He actually won a race at Winchester when he was 13. And I remember talking to him and asking him, what do you want to do when you grow up? And it was like, no hesitation, I want to be a NASCAR driver just like my dad. So he was already at that level, and he was his parents already had him. I mean, he was yes sir, no sir. And most of the kids, people mostly say, well, aren't those kids just crazy, wild and stuff? I said, no, most of them it's just the opposite. Most of it's a quiet kid that doesn't do well at other sports, and they find an outlet for them, and that's racing. And and most of them are good. Some of the older crew chiefs, when kids were coming up, like Freddie Query, this guy in North Carolina, talked to, he said, I didn't want anything to do with the kid. I thought, I'm not, you're not going to listen to me. But he said it was just the opposite when I started working with them. They play these video games, so they're programmed to do certain things in certain spots. So he said I would go out on the track and I would put a piece of tape on the wall and I'd tell them, this is where you slow down, this is where you hit the gas again. And he said they would hit it every time. He said it's just like a video game to them.
Yeah.
He said so it's actually the kids pick it up a lot quicker than an adult would. They're young. I mean, we don't have a lot of young ones out here with the street stock. It's kind of what I would call an older crowd, but there is a lot of young racers. I mean, they start them young. NASCAR and ARCA, you can start at 15 on the short tracks. You got to be 18 before you can get on the big tracks. So if they're starting that at 15, they've got to get the experience before they get there. So I mean, that's why you see them that young.
I'm an only child. And if I had been a boy, I would have been in racing. Because my dad, he was die-hard racing fan, you know what I mean? But he didn't want anything happening to his little girl, so. It's like, no, you stay away from it.
If you go to a quarter midget race now, it's probably, I won't say it's 50-50, but there's a lot of girls. A lot of girls involved with quarter midgets and stuff. Tyson Thompson's daughter. She's raced quite a bit.
Ashton, yeah.
Yep, she raced out the racetrack some. Now she's kind of gone more open wheel. She went to the Chili Bowl and she's doing some open wheel racing.
She's been in here.
Yeah, she does. She does a nice job.
She does, yeah.
She's very good on the other side of it too. She's very good at talking and promoting sponsors and that kind of stuff. And that's as big a part of it as it is racing now.
Absolutely. So if your dad would have seen you race one race though, the taste. I mean, he'd had a.
You're talking about different generations.
I know, but I mean now, think about now, he'd have been, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'd been.
Because I still remember his stories. You know, we're from Borden. He was from Borden, and you know, he used to tell me the illegal races they used to have along that stretch on 60. You know, there through Borden, and it'd crack me up. It would crack me up. And you know, he would go out of town to the races, and yeah, it was like NASCAR was huge growing up.
Well, what's cool now is that we almost have what I would call a motorsports park out there too, because we also have the drag strip now, and we're trying to work with those guys. Trying to do. It's a complete different crowd. There's really not much crossover, but we're trying to do work with them, and they'll use our camping area and stuff. But it's kind of weird because when I was there before, it was an airport. So they're airplanes. Yeah. So now I'm up in the tower and there's a drag car going down. And I think somebody's blowing up an engine on the racetrack, and it's kind of different. But they've done a nice job over there. Ken's done and John Jones and all that are involved over there. They've done a really nice job and got that place going. They're going to have some big races there this year.
Yeah, I've got to be a part of some of that. Yeah, it's really pretty cool. All right, time has gone by so fast. Glenn Luckett, thank you for coming in, Salem Speedway.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And love working. Can't wait to see what the season holds for us. Exciting. And Holly, let's thank our sponsors. Holly, Salem Crossing, you guys. So today is Superhero Day.
We're superstars today.
Superstar.
Okay, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Fantastic Sam's, Fox Lee Wealth Management, Po' Boys Barbecue, and Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn. Thank you so much, sponsors.
Thank you, Wonder Woman.
Thank you. Wonder Woman.
There you go. Have a great Friday.
Justin Green for Salem Mayor. Let me tell you about myself. I'm a lifelong Salem resident and a successful small business owner. I first ran for mayor in 2019. Since taking office, I have focused on improving Salem's aging infrastructure and invested over $11 million in projects, many of which are funded through state and federal grants. I will continue to work to grow Salem by attracting new jobs and residents while increasing our quality of life for our current residents. Vote for Justin Green, Mayor, Republican primary on Tuesday, May 2nd. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to re-elect Justin Green for mayor.
Hello folks, Craig Martin at Billy Martin Store in downtown Martinsburg. So you're in the market for new appliances, furniture, floor covering for your home or business? Then Billy Martin Store is the place to go. We've got a huge display of many nice, top quality name brand merchandise in stock to select from at everyday low prices. So whether you're building or just replacing, Billy Martin Store has terrific personnel to help you all in selecting the right product, and also professional flooring installers to take care of your floor covering needs. Billy Martin Store tries each day to continue to buy USA-made products made right here in southern Indiana. As we are celebrating our 164th anniversary as the oldest family-owned business in Indiana, father to son and now daughter, Tanya, we appreciate all of the business over the many years. So why not drive on out to the country and save a lot at Billy Martin Store? Billy Martin Store is located in the heart of downtown Martinsburg, or feel free to call us, Janice, Tanya, or myself, 812-967-3997, and we'll be glad to help you.
Come on out and spend May 7th at the high banks of Salem Speedway at the first race of the new season under new ownership. Come see the racers competing on the newly paved surface that will make the high banks even faster. Pits open at 8 a.m., spectator gates at 10. See the following: Max Auto and Scrap Recycling Legends 25-lap feature. Mike's Muffler and Brakes CVBT 75-lap feature. Salem Superclass Cars 25-lap feature. Diesel Boys Gas Series 75-lap feature. On-site plumbing, heating, and air CVST 25-lap feature. Practice begin at 11:30 a.m. Racing begins at 2. Grandstand general admission tickets to $15. Chairback reserve $20. And kids 12 and under are free. For more information, go to salemspeedway.com or contact the Speedway at 866-2GO-RACE. We'll see you at the high banks at Salem Speedway, where they're racing so fast, it's already history.
Eat barbecue if there ain't no smoke. New owner Bill and his family want you to try the St. Louis style ribs, meat by the pound, or try a variety of dinners with 2 sides. Looking for something lighter? Try sandwiches with pulled pork or chicken, brisket, hand-pounded tenderloin, or the half-pound Angus burger, or ask for the old 38, a sandwich with half brisket and half pulled pork. There are chicken strips, grilled cheese, and a quarter-pound burger for the kids, and smoked chicken wings, haystack onion rings, and French fries. And you'll love their #1 bestseller, the Pig Pin, which includes a heap of steak fries covered in pulled pork and cheese sauce. Doors open Tuesday through Saturday.
The Rick and Bubba Show is a federally protected trademark. We just thought you'd want to know. All rights reserved.
From the No Name Studio, 6 minutes past the hour, on the bleeding edge of technology from Sweet Home, Alabama to the world. Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, Eddie Van Adler, all here for a brand new hour. Welcome back, Bill Bubba Bussey.
Rick, glad to be here, and thank all of you for being part of the Rick and Bubba Show.
Bubba, the Elite Eight are here. Yep. There's the great Eight. There they are. There they are. They're from all over, Bubba. We got them coming from Missouri, Tennessee, Cleveland County. That's right. I mean, they're from everywhere. You know, we've got them in this. Let's see, where else? Let's see. So, Cleveland County, Alabama.
Huntsville, Montgomery.
Huntsville,
Tennessee,
Missouri, somewhere in Tennessee. So they're all here, and Bubba, and we're going to give them an opportunity before this show is over to spin that wheel of canned meat behind you.
Wheel of canned meat.
Yeah, and you know, Bubba and I were looking at the various canned meats we have, because you know, if it lands on,
it's a variety.
If it land, you know, it can just land on Bubba going there and pulling one out of the box. And I will tell you what, I looked at the deviled ham. You remember deviled ham?
Oh yeah. It scared me because it had that devil on it when I was.
It scared me right till I put it on the cracker.
Now I was a potted meat guy. I love that.
Don't
I put that on a cracker.
Yeah.
In a minute.
Yeah. That was one of the potted meats. It was
I
called.
used to eat a lot of sardines.
Yeah. Huh?
Rick, I was out when all this came to fruition.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a question.
Driving,
Are
right?
they actually spinning for themselves
No,
or for
no,
callers?
For callers.
For callers. Okay.
I actually got
Is that
a mail
disappointing?
It does. It does
Yeah.
disappoint. Because I was wanting them to be able to walk out with cans of meat today.
It'd be a lot
Doggone it.
simpler.
You see what I'm saying? And we wouldn't have to ship anything.
Right.
Yeah, we only had
Or
one.
get their information.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I see why you're really pulling for that.
Yes.
There's a lot.
I was really hoping to come back to that.
You know, there's a lot of upside to that.
There was. Wish I'd have been here in that meeting.
Right. But hey, you know what we did? We got canned meat, and I'll tell
That's
you
right. I
what.
saw a bunch
right.
of it in
Yeah,
there.
A lot of happiness given out.
Canned meat, it's look, don't turn your nose up.
Rick,
at it.
imagine not knowing that this is going on and walking in on Monday to all the
Oh,
canned meat.
yeah.
I bet there was
It's
some.
like, what in the world?
You know what you thought to yourself? Well, they've turned into preppers.
Yeah. Or it's a canned food drive for charity.
That's right.
Speedy said he liked corned beef.
Yeah.
I saw you eyeing that.
He's in that mood.
He is.
Which I kind of like. Go fix some more coffee. I need you geeked out by 10.
He forgot he's got to go home and feed dogs.
Oh, and he also forgot he's got a remote he didn't tell us about.
Yep. Are you?
Well, that all got swapped around, so it snuck by me.
Are you going?
Yes,
somewhere?
I am. Rick 11-1 today. Come on by. We got construction going on, but that don't matter. We got them moving.
And today,
We got them moving. You
today,
got them moving.
Special pizza today. The toppings: potted meat.
Potted meat. God, imagine that.
Yeah. All right. So, if you want to be taken serious a bit, can I just tell the Earth worshippers, the man-made climate change doomsters? You know, you're really coming across like a bunch of idiots. So here we go. Burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. Here we go. Climate protesters. Everybody. Burn, baby, burn. All right. My wife is not going to be pleased with this because I think this is the little statue that she thinks is precious and mild. Edgar Degas' Little Dancer. Age 14 sculpture. It's in the National Gallery of Art in D.C. And climate activists. Now, I don't know how you bring attention to climate change by putting paint on a little dancer.
What the little dancer?
Well, I don't know what the little dancer did to warm the earth. Is there carbon emissions on ballet? I don't know.
Yeah, really.
But you know, this is the
Oh,
famous
tiny dancer.
Yeah, this is the famous. You know. It's a little dancer, and so they're taking
somebody to come and slap the snot out of it.
Hand off.
And so these are climate protesters, and I don't know how this Bubba is supposed to make us care.
Oh, please take a listen.
Listen to these.
Do we have any security?
We need our leaders to take serious action to tell us the truth about what's happening with the climate.
We are adults. We should be at home working. I have a job that requires health and safety, but I can't do my job unless I have a government that does their job in looking out
I'd like
for
to
the
kick
health
him
and
right in the
safety of our
face.
children.
He ain't got no job. He can't believe that security guy right there cannot believe he's having to tell people to leave.
Can I tell you what? You hear his speech. You know what it is? He's a loafer.
He's looking for a reason not to go to
and
work.
what he say? And he doesn't want you to know he's just a loafer. He wants you to think he's doing this big call that we must understand his loafing.
Well, look,
his loafing actually should be applauded because he's trying to save the planet.
Hey, his president's in. Why didn't Biden do something?
That's right, bro.
I mean, what's he tore up about? He's got his guy in there.
Can you imagine a grown man saying, "I really do need to be at work, but I just can't go to work till I know what's going to happen to this planet."
Yeah. They need to lock them
that
up.
Sounds like
See, if all you need is a good whooping right there, and drag them out, and it cut out some of that food.
Let Terry Tate
Look,
show
you
up
can, yeah, exactly.
Listen to what he says. I'm sorry.
You can be whatever your cause is. That's fine, but don't be destroying property and all that. That's ridiculous.
And how in the world does the little dancer get involved?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
And look, with a voice like that, don't try to give me a rousing speech.
No.
I should be at home working. I
Should
have
be
a
at
job
home
that
working.
requires
Who, Mr. Wispy?
health and safety, but I can't do my job unless I have a government that does their job in looking out for the health and safety of our children.
I wish Terry Tate would just
I like to put
absolutely
my
square up
hand,
on
dip
him
my
right
hand
there.
in that paint. Just
You're
slap
right,
the crap out of
Adler.
both of them.
He said I should be at home working.
I should be working.
I should be at home working.
I work
Well,
from
go
home.
home
Well,
and
you
work.
know why he says he wants to be at home working? Because he's one of these people that's probably still wearing a mask in his house behind the computer saying, I can't come into work.
Right,
probably. Which kind of takes us to the Blaze TV trailer.
That's crazy.
Look, Blaze TV, I didn't even know they were doing this. Blaze TV is doing a movie called Reopening, and it's a mockumentary, which I always love the humor of a mockumentary. Again, can you do this kind of humor? And from the trailer, you'll see the premise is a community theater is boldly going to reopen, even though the COVID is out to get us all, and they're boldly going to try to reopen, and they're making fun of the. And by the way,
this is boldly funny and mildly offensive to some people.
Yeah. Now I will say that there will be a reference to a part of the human body in here.
Well, it is a true
but
test
it is a
to do
it's a
that,
scientific it's a scientific word. It's an uncomfortable scientific word, but it's in there.
Roll it and let's just watch it.
So here it is. The movie.
So legend has it that there are ghosts in our theater. Any person that has come to see a show and then leaves and then dies becomes a ghost. Now,
notice the
they
mask.
can always listen to your feet tapping, and that's where the part My name is Roger Bastian. I wear many hats. I am a theater director. Okay, everyone, listen up. Today's going to be a big day. I am a theater owner. This would be very off-putting for an audience member. They may feel that they're in a crack house. I'm a crowd pleaser. Why are there cameras here? They are filming a documentary. Well, it's a huge Hollywood film, and they're going to be watching us reopen the theater. You just said documentary. Don't start with me today. Okay. We're going to clean up. We're going to disinfect. We're going to reopen. Roger.
The most accurate form of coronavirus testing is anal swab.
Anal swab, like your anal area, or anal? What goes in the anal?
Oh my God, what time is it, Roger?
It's 11:32 a.m. Guess what? You've won the lottery. No, I'm kidding. You won something better. A role in my show. It might be off-putting and scare an audience if they think that you're scared.
My line's coming up.
The water's moving.
They're intense, y'all.
We're gonna reopen. Stop saying anal!
Good night.
It's pretty funny.
There's some double masking going on too.
They're double.
A lot of zooming in.
I do want to say this. I do want to say this, and I don't want to be insensitive because you know that's my nature.
Right.
But mask people, 2023 mask people. What are y'all doing? I really, I don't know how much more research has to come out that masks are not going to solve any smidgen of COVID that still exists. It really isn't, and that's been proven over and over again. Some of you are wearing them like chin straps. Is it
Rick,
is it a security blanket? I don't. It is.
Rick, I want to think that some of these people are have immune problems,
Right.
maybe going through chemo or something. And
that's what
and those people existed before. We just didn't notice it like we do now. And I hope that's the problem.
Yeah. Well,
but I know some of them are not. I've heard them giving a speech, which we can hardly understand.
Our numbers are way up, as you said. You know, people who are going through chemo and people who have immune compromises have tried to bring masks for the things they do help with for as long as people have had those kind of problems, to your point, Bubba. But the increase of masks are clearly up. There are some who are healthy people that are clearly going out every day thinking I have to wear this or I'll get sick.
See them every day, and I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean about it. I just want to simply go. I want to be able to start a conversation and go. So why on today in April of 2023 are we still wearing a mask? Can you please explain that to me? I respect your opinion. I just want to hear it. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Is that rude to ask? I'm thinking about asking. Yeah,
I see one going for a walk with one on.
I see it all the time. Every day I see 15 or 20 amongst the campus at UAB, and I'm like, what's going on?
Maybe it's a pollen thing.
Or in a car.
Can I tell you this, Em? Unfortunately, if they answered, you wouldn't be able to understand it.
Yeah. Good point. You get just a few words.
Right. You'd be like, well, I can't understand it. And
people don't have to. People can wear one if they want to.
Of course.
But they know they don't have to, right? They know that, right?
Apparently not, or you wouldn't wear it because it's extremely
they don't.
The few times back when you were forced to wear them, I thought that's one of the most miserable. I mean,
especially if you wear glasses.
Yeah. Y'all want me to start asking?
I think you should. Would you do it? Will you do a documentary on the campus?
I'll see what I can do.
Looking for peace of mind when it comes to your car's performance? Look no further than our friends at CarShield. With plans for every budget, CarShield offers protection plans that cover more parts than ever before. Whether your car has 5,000 miles or 150,000 miles, plus they offer plans that come with roadside assistance 24/7, courtesy towing, and rental car options. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 to save 20% on your plan. 800-465-6550 or go to carshield.com/Bubba. Got you a free silver bar? Well, okay, we've asked our friends at Lear Capital to do something special for our listeners. Look, highly respected financial analysts predict gold prices could soar as much as $4,000 an ounce. Now, there's no magic 8 ball that guarantees that's going to happen, but gold has outperformed the S&P 500 for the past 20 years. Right now, new Lear customers receive a free 1-ounce silver bar with every ounce of gold you purchase. Free silver bar offer expires soon, so hurry. Visit LearBubba.com. That's LearBubba.com.
At Taco Bell, we like to keep mornings simple because before 11 a.m., you're not down for whatever.
No.
You're not interested in trying new things.
No.
You want a breakfast that's toned down and delicious, like the Breakfast Crunch Wrap with fluffy eggs, sausage, melty cheese, and a crispy hash brown and a grilled tortilla.
I want to eat that.
See? You may not be a morning person, but it's morning, and you're a person. Taco Bell breakfast, served until 11 a.m. At participating Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only while supplies last.
You've never knowingly feed your dog sawdust, but it's one of the most common fillers found in dog food today. Even the ones labeled healthy can contain powdered cellulose, otherwise known as wood pulp.
I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. Your dog needs a biologically appropriate diet. That's why I developed Nature's Blend, a freeze-dried raw food, premium cuts of meat, omega-3 rich seeds, and superfood veggies and fruit.
This is my dog Cleo. She's a 10-year-old Chihuahua. Before we started Dr. Marty's food, she was really not spunky, a lot of digestion problems, joint pain.
Nature's Blend is made in North America and is pantry safe.
Now she acts like a little puppy. She's running around.
For a limited time, save 54% off Nature's Blend and receive a free pack of premium dog treats. Go to drmartypets.com/free treats or text free treats to 511-511.
I guarantee it with a 100% 90-day return of your purchase price.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to one additional text. Text stop to opt out.
Paid for by Dr. Marty's Pets.
Paid for by Christian
Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Hurry and shop the final days of Springfest at Lowe's. Ready to get started on your spring planting? Right now, get select Bonnie 19.3-ounce vegetables and herbs, 3 for $12. Save on indoor updates, too, with up to 40% off select bathroom faucets and vanities. Shop Lowe's today, because Lowe's knows spring. Valid through 4/26. Bonnie offer available in-store only. Actual plant size varies. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Attention, all you coffee drinkers. There's a brand new brew that you definitely want to make part of your daily ritual. If you enjoy delicious, good coffee like us, My Coffee needs to be your new drink. It's organic, which is so important because if not, then it contains chemicals banned in this country decades ago. You've heard us talk about My Pillow for years on this show, and now they've got My Coffee direct from the MyStore.com website. Go to MyStore.com, enter the code BUBBA to save 25% off your order of My Coffee, or find the link at rickandbubba.com. Got you a free silver bar? Well, okay, we've asked our friends at Lear Capital to do something special for our listeners. Look, highly respected financial analysts predict gold prices could soar as much as $4 grand an ounce. Now, there's no magic 8 ball that guarantees that's going to happen, but gold has outperformed the S&P 500 for the past 20 years. Right now, new Lear customers receive a free 1-ounce silver bar with every ounce of gold you purchase. Free silver bar offer expires soon, so hurry. Visit LearBubba.com. That's LearBubba.com.
Rick and Bubba's in Ohio!
Rick and Bubba. Pass the gravy, please. Rick and Bubba.
22 minutes past the hour of the Rick and Bubba Show. 866-WE-BE-BIG is our number. Thank you for being with us today. So, Bubba, how about a heartwarming story? You want a heartwarming story? I kind of need
Rick,
that.
I need a heartwarming
story. Apparently, Drew Maggi, is that how you say his name? Maggi?
M-A-G-G-I?
Drew Maggi has been banging it out in the minor leagues and has played over 1,100 games
wow.
In the minor leagues, and finally got the call to come to the show.
Real life Crash Davis.
There you go.
Straight up.
You
How
go.
about that?
And he gets a standing ovation at his very first bat in the majors.
Yeah, and the umpire actually gave him extra time. He didn't get punished for taking too much time.
Well, yeah, probably in these moments you might want to let that kind of stuff go. Right?
Yeah.
So for the Pirates.
You can see his mom and dad are going to be up there too.
Oh, Speedy, are you okay?
Yeah, it's a special moment.
What a warm and classy greeting. I love this game. 13 years and Jeff Nelson, home plate umpire, stepping out, giving him a moment.
It was kind of cool too how they did it. So the head coach, I'm not sure his bat there, but the head coach for his minor league team had everybody in the locker room. He didn't even have a shirt on. He was sitting in front of his locker, and the coach is like giving this team, speech and whatever, and then throws it in towards the end. Oh, by the way, you're getting pulled up, and they all went nuts because he's been in the minors for so long.
Did y'all say 13 years?
13 years. Wow.
1,100 games?
That's
some change?
It's a lot of bus rides, boys.
That's a lot of bus rides.
To a lot of...
It ain't a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of out-of-the-way stadiums.
So, from what I'm reading here, you got the standing O, and then he gets a hit with a pitch clock violation.
Oh, cool.
With his first at bat. Is that what
he gets a walk?
What does that mean?
Well, I don't know.
It could be a 3-2. If he gets a 3-2 count and the pitcher gets too long, gets too much time, then he's awarded a ball, which would be a walk.
So it wouldn't be a hit; it would be a walk.
Yeah.
So are they booing the ump for now not letting it?
Oh, they're saying Yeah, okay, they gave him a strike, but then he gets a hit. Maybe that's the story.
I hope so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Did he get a real hit? I don't know. I'm trying to find it.
I thought
Greg, when did you become the expert on
I
this?
thought the article I read.
You're
the
all
other day.
confident over there with your pen in your hand.
I thought I saw hit.
Highlight
Maybe
stuff.
I was watching a movie.
And that would actually make sense because he got the warning or the strike, not the other way around with the pitcher.
So the umpire gave him.
Did he get a hit or not?
He gave him more
Let's find
time,
out.
but then also called a strike on him.
Correct.
Too much time.
Correct.
What a bip.
How about it sounds like?
Oh, he's hit with a pitch clock violation. That's what I was reading. He got hit with. Why would you write it like that?
Come on, sports.
I don't know anything about baseball. Why would you write it?
Or this is other at bat. Did they do a? I'm telling you, I saw a story a couple days ago, and I thought he got a hit.
You don't know.
Maybe that was Shoeless Joe Jackson. 8 men out.
My favorite is when you start talking about why you got all that going on there. Like, you know, you got your desk laid out. It's almost like you've been researching it.
You know what happened? It was a 3-2 pitch.
So it was earlier this week. It was in the 8th inning. He was
Hit a home
appeared
run.
as a pinch hitter, is what it was in the 8th inning. He struck out in his lone at bat.
Oh, that hurt.
But
they immediately sent him right back down.
I wish we wouldn't have dug into the story.
But Pittsburgh did.
I felt that coming.
I could have swore I saw it.
You hear me, Helms? I felt that coming. You know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of talk about it, a lot of mention.
The Pirates did end up beating the Dodgers though 8-1.
Okay.
So the team won.
Thanks to
Now,
Maggie.
oh wait a minute, it did say he got a single next to bat, but got picked off at first.
Greg, don't say that.
Cinderella.
Right. Greg, unfortunately, he took a mighty swing and tore his rotator cuff.
All right, so it does look like the standing ovation was earlier when he was called in to pitch hit.
Oh, okay.
The first strike was a foul, and then the second strike he took too long, and it was a pitch clock violation by the home plate umpire. And then he fouled off another one, and then took a ball before striking out swinging on a slider.
He did get to run down to first because the ball hit the dirt when he was swinging, and he had to throw him out at.
So we started
which I think's
out-
a stupid rule.
He
but,
said it's the best.
you know.
He said it's the best strikeout I've ever had.
We started out
It was
with the story
Rick, listen
and realized
to
we
these
knew
numbers.
nothing
Well,
about
you had him getting a hit.
I did.
Rick, you've got him.
I think it's a different at bat.
I heard
Or it's a
Don
different-
Lemon called the game.
Oh, wait a minute. It may be a different person.
His career,
Seriously. I
which
think the
is-
guy was talking about playing for the Padres.
which has been 12 years, 10 months, and 18 days since he was drafted.
Right.
In the 15th round, 447th overall back in 2010. He's had a 254 batting average, 978 hits, 45 home runs, 354 RBIs, and 222 stolen bases. That's a lot of steals.
He's been playing down the minor league for a long time, hasn't he?
Really has.
You know, Greg, it's not exactly the rookie. But I mean, but
no, it didn't turn out like that.
But it's still a hard. In your movie, Greg, he can get a hit.
I thought he got a hit.
Well, he may still get a hit. You think you'll give him a chance to
They
bat
didn't send
this?
him back
Hopefully
down there
so.
Huh?
to Saskatchewan.
He, you know, he was in Double-A, got pulled all the way up.
I know. Listen, now I feel you pulling for him. You're in
Of
now.
course.
You're
That's a long time
emotionally
to be-
connecting yourself to the
Yeah,
story.
yeah. Well, seeing the video of him getting told by the coach was kind of neat too.
Right.
Do we have that one?
That's what I actually saw yesterday. I didn't actually see.
Can we see that clip?
I have this queued up of him talking
after the game?
afterwards.
All right,
This
let
is
me
after
go
he
this
struck
other way.
out.
All right, careful.
What will you take away from this? What's special about this that you're going to take away for the remainder of your life?
Just that anything's possible, you know, never give up no matter what you're doing. You know, if you love something, go for it. This is special to me. I'll never forget this whole experience. You know, I didn't expect it, but this is, don't give up.
Great words of advice. Drew
Maggie.
Maggie.
All right, then. A little anticlimactic. Yeah.
But do you have to belittle everything?
Wow,
I mean,
Greg.
I'd like to see
It
him
was
get a
his
hit or
dream.
something.
It was his dream.
Get caught up, strike out.
So
there's a movie.
So if I stay in the minor
Called
leagues,
Dennis
Greg,
Quaid.
if I stay in the minor leagues
Greg.
and I don't
Greg,
give,
the puppies are crying.
Greg,
He called Dennis Quaid.
Greg, if I stay in the minor leagues
I gotta admit that's kind of.
and grind it out for 13 years, if I don't give up, I may be able to walk out and strike out.
I saw your face.
I'm sorry, Speedy.
Or it could be, you ought to give up. You know? 'Cause think about it. Okay, the baseball didn't work out. If he'd been working at a job like maybe the past 10 of those 13 years, he'd probably be in a lot better
Do you think
shape.
if at the end of the story it said he has a stray that had 8 puppies, you would like him?
I'm just saying, y'all got to admit, it would have been better if he at least got a hit.
It would have. It'd been a better story. Bottom of the hour.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like the gap between your bed and wall that's big enough for your phone, but not your hand. Or the gutters growing their own trees. Or the wall outlet your kids keep calling Sparky. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be your heating or air conditioning. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Give Seth at Marshall's a call today at 812-967-3742, and we'll be glad to take care of you.
Barbecue is back in Salem, baby, and things are really smoking. New owner Bill and his family would like to invite you to come out to Po' Boys Barbecue at 506 South Main Street, Salem, Indiana, and try us out. I guarantee you'll love it. From pulled pork to ribs to brisket and even barbecue chicken. We have something for everyone. They have kids' meals, burgers, and even smoked wings. And if you've never heard of our haystack onion rings, you've got to try them. And you'll also love our #1 bestseller, the Pig Pin, which features a heaping plate of steak fries covered in cheese and pulled pork. Just $10.95 or get 2 sides for just $2 more. Not sure what you want? Try the sampler platter, which gets you ribs, brisket, pulled pork, barbecue chicken, smoked sausage, and 3 sides for just $23.95. Bill has fed NASCAR drivers, musicians, and NFL players. And they're open now here in Salem and ready to serve you and your family. Come in and see Bill and his family today. They'll be having a grand opening coming soon. Stay tuned to WSLM for more information. Call them at 812-570-0020 for carryout. Or come in for some of the best barbecue you'll ever eat. And remember, at Po' Boys Barbecue, they only smoke the good stuff.
WSLM, the auto racing station of the nation.
Cheese is going where it's never gone before. To the bottom, Papa John's is flipping the pizza over and putting it underneath the crust. Papa John's Crispy Parm Pizza features their thin crust seasoned with a blend of shredded Parmesan